Alright everyone, you might notice something different today. That's right, I'm clanking tea at the moment. Funny story actually, I ordered like 250 of those little instant coffee Puro things like we had in the Swedish MRE, and I didn't expect them to come this morning, so I brewed MRE breakfast tea, which just has a little bit of caffeine in it, because the energy drink that I had wasn't strong enough. And then it came like 2 minutes later. I'm thinking to myself how hilarious that is. But this is even more hilarious, is this story from the New York Times. Link in the description. Archived, of course. Always use archive.today, whether you're sending news tips into creators or whatever, because people like to silently edit articles when they get backlash. Anyway, the New York Times is preemptively preparing to label the tax hikes that are going to happen if Biden gets rigged in there as Trump tax hikes. Well, he passed a tax bill and it begins to expire, so if you notice your taxes going up, it's not Joe Biden's fault. It's a promise kept that he won't raise taxes on anyone making under $400K a year. But that's bullshit. See, the whole point of the tax cuts, in order to get them through the Dem-controlled House, they were short-term. Some of the provisions begin to expire as early as 2021, the next fiscal year, after the taxes for the 2020 fiscal year. Some of those provisions begin to dwindle. I think the child tax credit lingers till, 2025. I think that the FICA offset lasts till 22, if I remember correctly. But different parts of it, they break down over time. Trump's idea was get the short-term bill passed, win, hopefully, the House in the election, which the Republicans almost did, and then extend them, make them permanent, at least some provisions of them. If Biden fails to do that, if he allows it to lapse, to expire, is that not a Biden tax hike? Of course it is. Trump wanted to enshrine it permanently, and in fact build upon it. Trump wanted a total offset of the payroll tax and a diversion of that taxing to corporations, which is remarkably progressive, so-called. By the way, he shouldn't have even done that. Just drop the tax rate for everyone and leave it there and don't even make up the money. Cut a bunch of bureaus and some pork in the military and you can pay for that easy. But Biden refuses to extend the tax cuts. Therefore, he's raising taxes. This is what I spoke of over and over again when he lied flat out to people and said, well, your taxes won't rise if you're making less than $400,000 a year. It's straight up bullshit. Especially for the self-employed, small entrepreneurs, startup businesses and stuff that might have a low six-figure budget at first. You have 3 employees or something, and anyone that has a lot of kids. If you have 3 or 4 kids, you've had a doubling of the child tax credit. That is potentially thousands in savings. Bye-bye to that. Thank you for voting for Joe Biden. It's not Trump's fault. He can't extend the tax cuts and improve upon them even further if he's not president of the United States. So the New York Times is playing games here. It's propaganda, and it's bullshit. It's completely false. The sitting president is the one who would have to say yay or nay to the tax code changing. It is with his particular consent and the consent of the Democrats in the House that they will expire. Kamala Harris has openly proclaimed that if they get in there, one of the first things they intend to do is rip apart that element of the tax code right away. They're not even going to let it linger on. Of course, they have to get it past the Senate potentially. They have to get it past committees that are no longer, remarkably Democratic in the House. In order to actually do that, the House generally controls the purse strings. So essentially it's the Pelosi-Biden tax increase. That's what you'll see if Biden is rigged into the presidency. And your taxes will go up. For me, my taxes will go up by multiple thousands of dollars per year without me having to earn a penny of extra income. Because the lowest brackets will all rise, albeit marginally, by a couple of points. So you have a rise in the lowest brackets. You have no more FICA offset, which is an offset of up to $100,000 of income at a 20% rate. A 20% effective rate on that income when you're paying a 15% extra tax is really helpful. It's several $1,000s. The ACA mandate will come back. So for people who are poor, you're going to have to start paying a 2.5% tax for not being able to afford health insurance. It's the least sensible thing that was in the ACA. It was the only part of the ACA that really rankled people was the mandate. It was also the only reason it was solvent, which is why it'll be restored. Child tax credit goes away. That's Biden. Biden is the one proposing to not extend the tax cuts. They did not affect mainly billionaires and large businesses, although I don't want them to have to be screwed either because they create most of the jobs in the country. It mainly helped the middle class, the working class, especially people with kids or who are entrepreneurial. For someone, all of you out there that are creators, you get a 1098 miscellaneous form. You are penalized 15% on up to $100,000 of income. That's a lot of fucking money. If you make $100,000, $15,000 of additional taxation on that first 100K. It doesn't even affect like the rich. It affects specifically creators that are making less. You're a YouTuber, you get money from ad revenue, you're looking into getting a Patreon page, you sell some books on Amazon, it's all through 1098. It all gets that 15% penalty. Trump offset a proportion of that in order to even the playing field and give people a reason to bother trying to be self-employed, just as he was trying to make people have more babies probably by saying, hey, I'll double the child tax credit. You know, it's been a while since we increased it. It's funny, there'll be people pushing to raise the minimum wage, but they don't want to increase the child tax credit. They don't want to give people more of their money. Yeah, you get more wages, but we're going to raise your taxes accordingly. It's the fucking goddamn point. But it's the Biden tax hikes. That's about all. Peace out.